Hello class, in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you the subtopic Preparation of Salts. This is Form 4 Chemistry, Chapter 6, Content Standard 6.9. Okay, why I want to repeat on this subtopic is because we did not learn this one properly last year because the COVID-19 outbreak just started. Okay, so what learning standard that you are going to learn? 691, test the solubility of salt and then classify them into soluble and insoluble salts. I will teach you more on the tables that are provided in your textbook. Okay, since we cannot do experiment right now, but I will focus more on this one. I hope you all still remember. Okay, we learned about this one briefly last year. And then we are going to learn about preparation of soluble salt and also preparation of insoluble salt. Okay, let us go to your textbook. This is in page 179 in your Form 4 textbook. Look at this table over here. This table is a solubility of salts in water. That's the topic of the table. Solubility of salt. Keterlarutan garam di dalam air. Soluble salts are salts that dissolve in water at room temperature, and non-soluble salts are salts that do not dissolve at room temperature. Satu soluble, larut, satu lagi insoluble, tak larut, dalam air, pada suhu bilik. There are 4 types of salts. Okay, there are 4 types of salts mainly. Okay, number 1, nitrate salts. Nitrate salts, NO3 minus. So, apa-apa logam yang digabungkan with the nitrate. Contohnya magnesium nitrate, also aluminium nitrate. Any metal that are combined, metal ion that are combined with nitrate, okay, all of it are soluble in water. None of them are insoluble in water. Tidak ada. There's no nitrate salts that is insoluble. Semua nitrate soluble. Number 2, sulfate salt, SO4 2 minus. All sulfate salts are soluble in water, all of them, except there are 3. Lead 2 sulfate, PbSO4, barium sulfate, BaSO4, and calcium sulfate, CaSO4. Okay, so these 3, P, B, C, are sulfate salt. Look at the metal ion here, the cation, Pb2+, Ba2+, Ca2+. When these metal ion are combined with sulfate, all of them are insoluble in water. Only these 3. Chloride salt. All chloride salts are soluble in water except there are 3. Number 1, mercury 1 chloride. Formula is Hg2Cl2. Lead 2 chloride, PbCl2. Silver chloride, AgCl. So there are 3 types of chloride salt that are insoluble in water. Number 4, carbonate salt, CO3 2 minus. Only 3 carbonate salt are soluble in water. 3 saja. Sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Potassium carbonate, K2CO3. Ammonium carbonate, NH4 2CO3. And other carbonate salt, contohnya apa? Other carbonate salt like magnesium carbonate, aluminium carbonate. Okay, all of these are insoluble. All of other carbonate salt. Only Na, K dengan NH4 itu saja yang larut dalam air for carbonate. And for ammonium, sodium, and potassium, if you see ammonium, sodium, potassium, all of them macam ni, ammonium, sodium, potassium, biarlah dia ammonium chloride ka, ammonium sulfate ka, ammonium nitrate ka, or sodium chloride, sodium chloride, sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate. Okay, itu contoh. Asalkan di depan tu ammonium, sodium, and potassium memang soluble in water sudah. Okay, there are none of these 3 types of metal ion when it combined with the salts. None of them are insoluble in water. Please hafal this jadwal, table 6.6, solubility of salts, keterlarutan garam di dalam air. Okay, there's one literacy tips over here to help you to learn better or memorize better. Okay, we use this mnemonic. All no asap salts dissolve in water. What is no asap? Look at this. Okay, NO is for nitrate. No, asap. What is asap? A for ammonium, S for sodium, and P for potassium. So no asap. Asalkan you see this no asap, okay, sodium, ammonium, potassium. Asalkan you see no asap, all of them dissolve in water. But if you see PBC and HPA, PVC sulfate, okay, specifically for sulfate, sulfat, PBC, chloride, HPA, itu tidak larut di dalam air. Do not dissolve in water. Do not. Okay? Okay, so now that you know there are two types of salts, soluble and insoluble salts, you need to know macam mana mau sediakan. Okay, macam mana mau sediakan garam yang larut dan tak larut. The method to prepare salts depends on the solubility of the salt in water and the type of salt required. So, bergantung kepada jenis, sama ada dia larut ataupun tidak larut. Okay, so figure 6.38 shows the various method for the preparation of soluble and insoluble salt. Okay, mari kita tengok this one first, soluble salt. There are two groups here. Satu, if the salts are ammonium, sodium, potassium salts. Satu lagi, if it's not ammonium, sodium, and potassium salt. Senang cerita, this type is the SAP. Okay, sodium, ammonium, potassium salt. And this is not SAP. Ini bukan SAP. Not sodium, not ammonium, not potassium salt. So you have two types, two methods. Depends on apa jenis salt dia. Ya, ada salt soluble. Tapi kita mesti tengok kalau SAP macam mana. Bukan SAP macam mana. Okay, kalau ada SAP, apa bermaksud SAP ni? Contoh, potassium kan? Potassium salt. Contohnya K2NO3. This is, KNO3. 不是 K2. KNO3, okay? Contohnya KNO3. Look at this salt here. This is nitrate salt. Dan di depan nitrate ada potassium. Kan ada K. Jadi dia adalah golongan kumpulan SAP, ada potassium. So if you see ada potassium kah, ada sodium kah, ada ammonium kah, you need to use this method, neutralization reaction. Gunalah neutralization between acid and alkali. I believe you have learned about this one. Okay, ini sempat we learn about this one. Neutralization, ada acid, ada alkali. Acid we put inside the burette and then we do titration in the alkali. Alkali is in the conical flask. Okay, if you see bukan SAP punya salt, you can do this reaction between acid and reactive metal, acid and metal oxide, acid and metal carbonate. Okay, cara dia tidak sama dengan titration. Okay, what you need to do is you need to put acid in a beaker. Ini bukan SAP. Apa bukan SAP ni? Bukan SAP ni contohnya magnesium nitrate. Kan? Mg bukan SAP. Bukan S, bukan A, bukan P. Ini Mg. So, mau sediakan Mg salt? Boleh. Mau sediakan zinc nitrate pun boleh. Boleh. Okay? But you need to use different method. Jangan guna titration kalau bukan SAP. So, what you do? Put acid di dalam beaker and then you put sama ada reactive metal kah, metal oxide kah, atau metal carbonate. Begitu. Okay? I will explain to you about soluble salt dululah. Let us look at this A here. Preparation of soluble salt, tapi ini adalah SAP. 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 Yang ada sodium, ammonium, and potassium. Look at this activity 6.19 here. To prepare soluble salts, through a neutralization reaction between an acid and an alkali. Kenapa neutralization? Sebab dia ada SAP. The salt ada SAP. So materials dia, we need 2.0 mole per cubic decimeter hydrochloric acid. We need an acid and we need alkali, and usually the molarity is the same. Potassium hydroxide solution is the alkali. Phenolphthalein indicator. What is phenolphthalein indicator? to indicate sama ada kamu punya larutan itu adalah alkali ataupun tidak. Okay. Filter papers, kertas turas, and distill water, air suling. Apparatus, 250 cubic centimeter of beaker, glass rod, filter funnel. If you forgot what is filter funnel, itu adalah rod kaca. Filter funnel adalah corong turas. Retort stand with clamp. This is retort stand with clamp. 25 cubic centimeter of pipette. Pipette filler, burette, evaporating dish, Bunsen burner, pipe clay triangle, conical flask, tripod stand, white tile, and wash bottle. Quite a lot of apparatus needed to prepare soluble salt through neutralization. So look at this procedure over here. It's very clear actually, okay? Rinse a 25 cubic centimeter of pipette with a small amount of hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. Then discard the solution. Okay, you use, kenapa kita guna pipette? Because pipette ni, dia punya volume adalah ngam-ngam 25. Ngam-ngam 25. So what you do is, you need to rinse dulu. Bilas dulu the pipette by a small amount with 2.0 because the pipette might be contaminated by bendasing, okay? Impurity. So, apa kita buat? Kita bilas dulu the pipette. So, after you bilas, discard the solution. Buang dari dalam pipette. Pipette accurately 25 cubic centimeter of potassium hydroxide and transfer into conical flask. So, this is what you have in the first picture. Okay? Kita guna pipette sebab ngam-ngam 25 cubic centimeter. Pipette ke dalam conical flask. Next, add a few drops of phenolphthalein indicator and swirl the flask. Okay, phenolphthalein indicator is going to turn the potassium hydroxide yang mula-mula potassium hydroxide tu dia colorless tu. But once you drop phenolphthalein in, dia akan jadi alkali. Okay, you will see purplish pink. Okay, we call pink color. After you add a few drop, you swirl lah supaya the color, the solution is homogeneous. Okay, maksudnya sekata. Then rinse a burette with 2.0. Burette is this one. This is the burette, okay? Rinse dulu, cuci dulu dia, bilas dulu dia with 2.0 mol per cubic decimeter of hydrochloric acid. Okay? This one is the hydrochloric acid. Rinse dulu the burette. After you rinse, barulah you fill in the burette with 2.0 mol per cubic decimeter of HCl. And then you clamp the burette to the retort stand. Like this. So when you clamp kan, I believe you all did an experiment before kan about this burette. You will tend to see the volume is going to decrease. Okay, the volume mula-mula penuh, lepas tu decrease because of your kamu punya jalan kerja. Okay, some people cannot get 50 accurately. Some people bila dia buka tutup this one and then turun dia punya isi padu. So what you do, don't worry, okay? If you cannot get 50 ngam-ngam, it's okay. Fill the burette and then record the initial reading of the burette. Kalau you have 47 cubic centimeter lah, it's okay. Does not need to be 50, okay? Walaupun the burette tu isi dia memang 50 lah. Okay, then add acid into the conical flask slowly while swirling it. What you do? This acid, you are going to open this valve, okay? Drop it slowly and then you swirl it. Swirl. Continue adding acid until the color of the solution in the conical flask changes from pink to colorless. Kalau dia sudah neutral kan, when it's neutral already, when you drop the acid into the alkali, you will see the color changes from pink to colorless. Kenapa dia begitu? Sebab dia sudah neutral. Okay. Record the final reading of the burette. Record. Bila dia sudah change from pink to colorless, you have to record. Then determine the volume of 2.0 mol per cubic decimeter of HCl required to neutralize 25 cubic centimeter of 2.0 mol per cubic decimeter potassium hydroxide solution. Okay, apa maksud dia ni? Begini. Once you have the volume Kan tadi tu penuh. And then after you titrate, you will see that your volume is decreasing. So you need to check berapa banyak bah yang diperlukan untuk kasih neutral this alkali solution. Begitu. Okay? And then number 9, refill a new 25 cubic centimeter of potassium hydroxide into a conical flask without Phenolphthalein Indicator. Okay, kali ni you need to refill lagi KOH into a conical flask. Kalau tadi we add phenolphthalein, now you need to discard it. Jangan lagi letak phenolphthalein. So you will see no color changes lah. Tiada lagi pink, tiada lagi. Okay, number 10, add V cubic centimeter of 2.0 mol per cubic decimeter hydrochloric acid from a burette into the conical flask and swirl the mixture to ensure the mixture is even. Okay, dari mana itu V? V is the volume yang tadi. Kan, before we do the titration for this one, kan dia masih lagi full. Assuming dia full lah, assuming. So, bila dia sudah stop, when the color changes from pink to colorless, itu maksudnya, kan kelas, itu maksudnya sebanyak V cubic centimeter of hydrochloric acid is needed untuk neutralize dia. So you repeat the experiment. Put another conical flask fill in with potassium hydroxide. Tapi no phenolphthalein because this one is repeat mah. So you have to put V cubic centimeter of acid into it. Ke dalam garam itu. Maksudnya sekarang ni kita sudah dapat the isi padu yang kita betul-betul mau. So kita guna isi padu itu yang tadi tu untuk neutralize the potassium chloride. No need sudah phenolphthalein because we know already what is the exact volume. Kita tahu sudah. Okay. So after that, you pour the content of the conical flask into evaporating dish. Begini, this is evaporating dish. Inilah kamu punya garam because sudah neutral. Acid dan alkali sudah bercampur and it's even and it's garam. So we are going to put in evaporating dish. So what you do next? Heat the solution slowly to evaporate the water so that a saturated solution is obtained. Panaskan larutan itu sampai dia evaporate. Tapi janganlah sampai kering. Okay, so that a saturated solution is obtained. Macam mana mau tahu saturated solution is obtained is 3/4. Tinggal 3/4 lagi. Dia punya isi di dalam. Okay, janganlah sampai kering. Sampai you can see 3/4 of it still here. Sampai saturated. Tepu sudah. Okay, next what you're going to do, let the saturated, biarkan yang tepu tu tadi tu cool down to allow crystallization to occur. Akan ada garam dalam bentuk kristal. Kristal lah, cantik tu actually. I will upload a video of other school yang sudah pernah buat the experiment in your Google Classroom. You can refer to that as well, okay? Untuk tengok macam mana ba the crystallization. And then after you let it cool down, filter the content. Filter, turaskan dia content of the evaporating dish to obtain the crystal, iaitu KCl. Kenapa KCl? Because HCl mix with sodium hydroxide, we will get H dengan kita akan dapat, okay, what is the KOH, sorry. Okay, HCl plus KOH. Kan? So we will have KCl. We will have the salt is potassium chloride. Kan ada potassium. Kan this method neutralization only apply to SAP. Kalau ada sodium, ada ammonium, ada potassium, bolehlah guna this method. And of course, we have the byproduct water. Okay? Ingat this method semua ni is only for subsalt. Sodium, ammonium, and potassium salt. Okay, then what you need to do next? Rinse the crystal. Bilaskan dia with a little amount of distilled water. Bilas dulu. Dry the crystal by pressing them between two pieces of filter paper. You have to dry it. Alright? Okay, so that's how you do the experiment. I will upload the video, but you need to complete this lab report. Okay, complete the lab report, and then you need to complete the work in Cikgu Azmi's book. After you do this one, you will understand tu, oh begini pula untuk kasih sedia garam SAP. Garam SAP. Okay, so if you want to do the work, you make sure that kamu mesti mau siapkan buku teks punya dulu. Ini, you must make sure you finish this lab report and you upload first to Google Classroom. And then, I want you to do this one. This is in page 169, Cikgu Azmi's book. Okay, tindak balas 1. Acid reacts with alkali. Neutralisation. So, as you do this exercise kan, you will notice that, oh, dalam soalan ABCD ni, dia punya garam-garam adalah potassium, ammonium, sodium, potassium. So, how to prepare the salts? Macam mana mau cari bahan-bahan dia? Like, what is the alkali and acid needed to prepare this salt? Okay, itu yang kamu perlu tahu. You complete this exercise as an extra understanding for this one. Preparation of soluble salt jenis SAP.